Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel Wishlist. My name is Jake, and there are a lot of new people on my channel, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm happy to have you guys here, and I have a lot of cool things in store for you coming up. But I realized that it has been almost 3 months since I have done an actual overview of anything in my own personal fish room. I have really enjoyed focusing on a lot of other really cool topics that have been very fun to show you. I have gone to a lot of other fish rooms and stores and things like that, and I've really enjoyed making those videos. However, I do want to keep you guys up to date as things change around here because I am making a lot of very exciting changes. I have lots of new fish. I have new tanks that I've set up. I've had tanks that I have had running for a while that I've added fish to that I'm very excited about. And I have some fish that are, nope, that's not what I meant. I have some tanks that are absolutely ugly. Fish are never ugly. The tanks are ugly. And I need to take them down. I need to tear them down because I'm going to come up with something new. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put there, but I have some tanks that have probably quarantined. I don't even know how many hundreds of fish at this point. And if anybody has kept quarantine tanks going for a long period of time, you know that after a while, they just get absolutely disgusting. Not to mention the stand that they are sitting on was not designed for having the types of tanks that are there. So I gotta take them down, I gotta tear them apart. So first, we're gonna take those tanks apart, and then I'm gonna take you around the fish room and show you some of the cool stuff that I've gotten recently. So let's go do that. So these are the tanks that I need to tear down. I built this stand in the worst way possible. It's really just wood and screws that are bearing the entire weight of all of these tanks. But I designed it to hold 6 10-gallon tanks, and then I ended up putting these 20-gallon tanks on top. I don't know why. I had them extra. I needed some tanks that were a little bit bigger. 10 gallons are not the easiest. And as you can see here, they don't even fit on this stand, so they hang over the edge. Now, they've been like this for a while now, and I think that they could stay like this for a little while longer. But this is just not ideal, and the entire purpose of this stand was to quarantine fish, to grow out fish, things like that, but it's just turned into a mess. Every tank is a mess, they're disgusting, and I just worry about the health of the fish when they're in this tank, and I don't like that. So I don't really have any solid plans for what to do here, but I'm just going to tear it all down and clean up all the tanks. And then when I come up with an idea, maybe something like a fry rack, I will come back and do that. So let's tear them up. I also just tore down 2 tanks from this area over my pond as well. I had 2 tanks sitting in the back behind the pond, a 29-gallon on the left and a 20-gallon on the right that's already gone. And I'll show you what I did with those fish and the shrimp that were in the 20 on the right in a little bit. But this was just an area that also needed some work because I couldn't see the fish. I couldn't care for the fish. It was really hard to do. It was just mostly a holding place, and it didn't really make sense to just have a spot where I just walk back every day and drop fish in these tanks. So I just took the 20 off of this space right here, and I'll show you what I did with that here in a little bit. But I love my pond. I'm keeping my pond. I really like it, and I enjoy it as it is right now, but I needed to do something different with the tanks. This may seem like a small thing to some of you, but this is actually something I'm very excited about. I have been upgrading my equipment recently. My goal is to capture beautiful image to be able to share with all of you, both on video and on film, which is something I've been getting into lately. And I got this new tripod. This is just a monopod, but it allows me better, smoother movements in my video quality. Not to mention, I did a little while ago, I guess it's been about 3 or 4 months now, bought a nicer camera, which has been great. It shoots amazing images. If you go back to my old videos, you might be able to tell the difference, but just a tiny little upgrade, but something that I am excited about so that I can give you guys high quality images of all the fish that I see anywhere I go. So, little thing, but a huge thing to me. and I hope you guys notice the difference. So let's check out these rare fish. This is a breeding group that I recently purchased, and it is a very rare fish that doesn't look like much right now, but is one day going to be stunning. At least one of them will be, and that is this guy right here. This is called a Cyathopharynx Foai. The catch point is Sibuesa, and this is a wild-caught breeding group. This fish does not come around very often. The reason I bought these guys is because years ago, I purchased 4 of them as juveniles, not even juveniles, they were babies, very small fish, and grew them out. And I ended up with a horrible ratio of about 3 males to 1 female. And so my dreams of growing them out and breeding them were kind of shattered, and I realized that waiting 3 years to do it again was not going to be very fun. So I decided when I saw these guys for sale to make a huge jump and to purchase them, and I'm hoping to be able to breed them and maybe to sell them in the future because they're a very difficult fish to find. But right now I have not seen any breeding activity, although the male is starting to color up. If you ever have seen these guys colored up, they are probably the most fantastic fish that you will ever see in your life. I have only ever seen pictures of it, and the day that I actually get to see it in person, I'm probably going to lose my mind. I am so excited for that. But stay tuned. Whenever I do see it, I will be catching it and sharing it with all of you, and then you will all want the same fish too. But these guys, you gotta be patient. So that's the first rare fish. Let's go on to the next one. So the next fish is the Fulvipinnis Acara. This is a blackwater aquarium that I have had running for some time now. And there are 2 of these fish in here, also known as, I believe some people call them the smiling cichlid, because it's a blackwater aquarium. It's a little difficult to film, and sometimes the fish don't show up that great. But it is a very beautiful fish, and I'm very excited to see it grow out. There is also a zebra acara in here. Oh, I see. There he is. He's peeking out. That's a good shot. So there is another zebra acara in here. If anybody saw, I did mention on one video that I had a breeding pair of them, and one of them I lost, and I'm not really sure how. So I've been looking for more zebra acaras. There he is down there, to be able to replace the one or more than one that I lost. Still a stunning fish even by itself, but I would like some more, and I may put them in here with them. I'm not really sure yet. I'd probably grow them out a little bit and hopefully breed them, but that is one change. Not necessarily the rarest fish, but not exactly a fish that you see around that often. So I'm pretty excited to be able to have these guys in here, and I think they complete this aquarium quite well. So let's go on to the next one. I mentioned this guy in a previous video, but this is a true parrot cichlid. And my plan was to put him in my 125 gallon with lots of other kind of peaceful South American fish. However, he is way too big for them. They all came in very small, and they're gonna need to grow out for a while. And so I decided to house him in my 180 gallon with my Geophagus, electric blue acaras, and angels. And ever since I put him in here, I think that he will never leave. I just keep watching him and the way that he interacts in this tank. His temperament is just so closely matched to the fish that he is with. He's a lot bigger than a lot of them, but honestly, I have not seen any issues with that he does have a lot of room in this 180 gallon tank to go back and forth, despite the fact that this tank has quite a few fish in it, although they are all bunched in the corner because they see me and they think I'm gonna give them food. But he is a very stunning fish. I absolutely love the patterns and the coloration on him. And I would say I'm excited to see him grow out, but he's actually probably full grown. Just a stunning fish, and I'm excited to have him in this aquarium. On to the next one. Anyone who's ever made YouTube videos knows that you're always fighting glare, but that's okay. Nothing can make this fish look bad. This is the Nanochromis Parilus, which is I believe it's called the blue dwarf Congo cichlid. I don't know if I got that right, but it is an absolutely stunning dwarf cichlid that I recently found at the Pet and Aquatic Warehouse in Lynchburg, Virginia, and a very rare fish. I had never heard of it. This was one of those that I went to the store and I saw it, and I could not resist bringing it home because it is an absolutely stunning fish. I got a pair, I believe, an attempted pair, we'll say that, This, I believe, is the female. Now, I have been a little nervous about whether or not her big old belly is full of eggs or whether she's got a touch of bloat or something like that. But I have seen her interacting with the male in this tank, and I believe that she is just full of eggs because she has been going in and out of spots and caves and things like that, and I think she's trying to breed. Now, he is a lot more timid than her. She seems to just stick right here in the front, almost like she just wants me to film her all day long, which is great because that's what I would love to be doing all of the time. But just the coloration and the stunning finish on her are just amazing. And if she breeds, I will be so excited. She's almost, I'm very new to this fish, so I'm learning a lot about them, but she's almost like Geophagus-like. She likes to sift through the sand, which actually this tank is a mix of sand and gravel, so I'm not really sure if I might make some changes to give her a better space. I do have a tank that may come available that's a 20 long that might be perfect for her and her boy, and maybe we'll see what happens there. So very beautiful fish, excited to have that one. Very rare, not one that comes along very often. And it is wild caught. I don't know if I mentioned that. It is a wild caught Congo tetra. So wild caught colors, wild caught fish, Parilus, Nanochromis Parilus. On to the next one. All right, I showed this guy in my last video, guy or girl, I'm not sure which it is, but this is a Vieja Argentea. I've heard it pronounced both ways. And it is a beautiful fish that I purchased from the Waterfront SLC. And I saw it in person when I was there in Salt Lake City and bought it and had it shipped to me. And now I have it and it's mine. And this tank that it is in, I don't know what you would consider to be your longest running aquarium. Is it if you move it from place to place but don't change the substrate? Like what constitutes a long running aquarium? Actually, let me know what your opinion is on that, because I'm curious if it's draining the tank or changing the substrate or changing the aquascape. This tank, if you count changing the substrate, although it has moved places 3 times, I have never completely drained it and cleaned it out. It has the same substrate, so technically it's kind of my longest running aquarium. However, it was where I kept all my red cherry shrimp. I had thousands and thousands of red cherry shrimp, and I will show you what happened to them. I didn't just feed them to the Argentea, but I have had it running for a very long time and have decided to make some changes. And it is not this fish's permanent home. This fish will get big. It is mostly just a quarantine option at this point. I may move the Parilus, the dwarf Congos, in here eventually once this guy is done with it. But this is part of a double setup. So this is a 20 long that is on my countertop next to my cubes over here, and I decided to put a stack. I have a new philosophy in my fish room, which is that if you find a spot that is collecting junk, which this spot was, I would just take all my garbage and set it on the countertop right here. And so I decided I was gonna fix that by putting an aquarium right here. But of course, don't just put one. The conversation for a little while was to put a large cube here, but then I decided on this. Let me drop the camera down and I'll show you what's down below. And this 20 long is housing a pronunciation alert for all of these words right here. A small breeding group of goodeids, of Xenotoca Doadrioi. Yeah, I'm not, that's my attempt. There it is right there, deal with it. So this is a group that I have had for a little while now. However, it was sitting back in the back where I showed you that I tore some of those tanks down, and the tank that it was in was just being over my pond where it was at was just hard to see, and I could barely see them. Not to mention the tank kind of came down with a case of green water, which is fine. It keeps the water very healthy, but I just couldn't see the fish, and I was kind of tired of not being able to see the fish. Not to mention they don't need a heater, so to me, a tank that doesn't need a heater is like a free tank. I can put tanks with no heaters up all day long because it doesn't add much of an energy cost other than the light and the electricity. Although for right now, it's a net zero because it was already taking up light where it was. So basically just added this tank here so I could see them. I did order a bunch of plants. It really, really needs some plants. I moved the fish first, and I have some crypts coming in that I'm planning on planting this tank out, as well as the one up above it. for whenever I get the dwarf Congos in there. So that is another aquarium. Let's move on to the next new fish. So this 55 right here is now housing my very rare rainbow fish species that I got from Gary Lang, my Melanotania bosemani Myeisu. They just have a collection point. They don't have, actually Melanotania Myeisu, I think is all they're called. I don't know, they basically are not described yet, so they don't really have a name. But there are 10 of them in there that I hatched from eggs, and I had them successively getting into larger and larger tanks, and I decided to move them into this 55-gallon, give them lots of space to grow, but considering they came from teeny tiny little fry, I am super excited to see how big they are getting and to give them a big tank to hopefully let them grow even more. This is another tank I need to work on a little bit of the aquascaping. I used to have a ton of very large plants in here, as well as some tetras and some Amazon puffers, and I stole all the plants and I put them in another tank. And the result is now I have a tank that looks very bare and boring, other than a big stick that reaches to the top of the tank. So I have some more plants. I ordered a bunch of plants for a bunch of tanks that are all missing plants. And this is one of them that is going to get some plants. While I am here, I will slide over and show you another new fish in a quarantine tank that does not look great. This is a festivum, festivus for the rest of us. This is a festivum, two of them right here that are very small, and I am planning to put them into that 75-gallon blackwater tank. So two of them right there, they're pretty small. I don't know how long I'll keep them in here, but I probably need to put on a little bit of size so that the Fulvipinnis cichlids do not hurt them. So the Acaras that are in there, I don't think they will. They seem pretty peaceful, but either way, I'll give them a little bit of size. Also, as I mentioned, I'll show you what happened to my cherry red shrimp. By the way, all of these tanks, I'm gonna paint the backs white because they need to look a little better. My plan is, originally I was planning on taking this is a stack of 4 10-gallon aquariums, and my plan was to just take it all out. And then I realized, why not just remove all the heaters and put some shrimp in them? So I had a tank of cherry red shrimp right here that I transferred to this tank, and there's a little bit of moss growing in there, not much else in there. Might add a few plants, I'm not really sure. I kind of want to see the shrimp. I used to have a whole bunch of guppy grass. You saw that big pile of guppy grass, and that came from the red cherry shrimp. And I could never see the red cherry shrimp because they just hid in the guppy grass. So it was great for growing red cherry shrimp, but I would like to see them. So this is going to be a Neocaridina red cherry shrimp. And then I believe I'm gonna get some blue dreams and probably some yellows, and I don't even know what else. I got 3 of them. This one's empty. This one, you're not really gonna see it, so I don't know if I'll bother really talking about it because it's probably hiding in there somewhere, but I did get a green, oh boy, I forgot which kind of pleco it was. Green something, I can't remember. I'll put it in the, it's on the screen right now. Look, there it is, see, I remember. This is where I am housing that one right now. It's still kind of in quarantine. There are also some white cloud minnow fry that are swimming around in there. And they are just ones that were in one of these tanks. I had some white cloud minnows in, I believe it was this aquarium, or maybe it was the top one. I can't really remember even more. Some adult white cloud minnows, and I took them out, and then within a few days I had a whole bunch of fry, and I said, hey, why not just try to raise these, because that could be fun. So that is all of the changes that are coming to this rack, and I will be sharing those with you as they develop. On to the next one. And this is what I'm calling my Wabi Sabi aquarium. I made a video on that, so go check that out. Just a very minimalist aquarium. I'm still waiting for this large piece of wood to weigh down so I can move that rock out of there. But man, are these guys growing great. And they think they're gonna get fed right now, so they're all showing off. This is the one where I was going to put that true parrot cichlid, but these Geophagus spheni, yeah, those are just snack size for that guy. I did, however, add this. This is my newer fish I want to show you, and he's coming out, so we'll show him. He's a chocolate cichlid, and I love this guy. He changes colors all the time, even as a little fish. So very excited to have him in this aquarium. Don't know if he'll stay here long term. He gets kind of big. I'm just gonna kind of see how his temperament develops. My understanding is they're kind of peaceable. we'll see. This is a waru. These guys are growing really great. There's 3 of them in here. I love them when they're little and they have all the little spots on them. They look so cute, and I'm excited to see, oh, this one's actually starting to develop a little bit of that black. Actually, that one is too. Very interesting. I'm just noticing that now. And these Pterophyllum sclare F1s, as well as the Cyathopharynx Foai that are in here. And then I added a few green laser quarries, green gold laser quarries, that's what they're called. There's 4 of them. I bought 8, had some problems. Some of them were DOA. I hate it when that happens because then you end up with a strange number of quarries. So I'm gonna have to fix that one day and get some more quarries. But either way, they all look incredible. Bunch of new fish in here. I'm excited to watch these guys grow. It's so fun. They're growing really fast. I'm feeding them like crazy. I'm like power feeding them. Super fun. On to the next one. All right, this is a new aquarium that I made a short on, but I didn't really make a setup video for this aquarium because this aquarium was basically here. It was my Congos and rainbows, but I just made some changes and I made a rainbow tank. I did kind of tear it apart and steal a bunch of the plants, so I kind of had to come back and do a little bit of escaping for it. But what really makes this tank is this Java fern, which if anybody's kept Java fern, it just takes so long to grow, so you know, and that big Anubias down there, you know that it just takes forever to get to that point. So I'm I love looking at it because it just represents a lot of work. But now it is a West African aquarium, and it has a good group of Congo tetras in there that look absolutely stunning. These males are constantly fired up. No, not that, that's a female. There's the male. So the males are constantly colored up. In addition to the Congo tetras, you know, everybody who keeps jewel cichlids always says the same thing. They're jerks, but I have been wanting them for a long time. And my channel is called Fwish List, which means I have a Fwish list, and jewel cichlids have been on the Fwish list. Now they are crossed off from the Fwish list because I have 3 Turkana jewels, and I love them. They're very pretty, but we'll see. Maybe they'll kill everything, and then I'll hate them. Or maybe they'll breed, and I won't be able to get rid of them. Who knows? One of those things will probably occur. I also have, where you at? Come on out. Not the brightest, shiniest fish, but a leopard tenopoma who, come on out. He was just there a second ago, but there are 3 of them in there, which they get kind of big, and I don't know, somebody convinced me at the store that they were better in groups, which they probably are, but I have enough aquariums that if they get too big, I got places to put them. There's one, a little easier to see. When they're small, they have the leopard spots on them, and I just think they are super cool. Kind of an ambush predator. So they kind of hide and then strike out, although I've never seen them do that. Now, there are also 2 Synodontis cats in here that are wild caught from the Congo, and to be honest, I never see them, so we're not gonna see them today. I hope they're okay. I do see them occasionally, so I think they're all right, but they are usually in that rock pile over there. So that is my West African aquarium. There are a few of you out there. I wanna say Mark, one of the guys comments on my channel a lot, who recommended a West African aquarium. Oh my gosh, the Synodontis cat, right there, sitting on the rock. Man, I haven't seen him in like 3 or 4 days, and he just comes out just to show you guys how cool he is. He's a yellow one, really cool. But anyway, yeah, I think Mark was the one that recommended the West African aquarium, and now I've got one. So West African aquarium, checked off the Fwish list. Let's go on to the next tank. I cannot tell you exactly how excited I am about this aquarium. I am just in love. This is my 6-foot rainbow aquarium. I am in love with the aquascape. I am in love with the way the plants are growing in, and those Amazon swords are just reaching for the top, and the rainbows are just constantly fired up, constantly moving back and forth. Some of the things that I was worried about, I have a small group of puffers, there he is, zooming across the tank, that are in here, and I was worried that they would be a little too nippy. And for the most part, I haven't really noticed anything. There was one little rainbow that had a little nip out of its fin, so I know that they're doing what puffers like to do, but they seem to be getting along just fine. And I added, if I can find them, some new fish to this tank. And where are they? There are a few that I can see, but there's one in particular that was a rehome locally. It was a massive millennial rainbow fish. There he is. Big old fat millennial rainbow fish. Still not really giving you a good view, but come on. There he is. All right, we got him. You've seen him. You know he exists. Hanging out there with his buddy. Beautiful. I thought he would be kind of aggressive. He seems to be doing just fine in this tank with all of these fish. If anything, I've seen the puffers kind of chase after him a little bit, but he seems to be looking okay. All right, I've shown you a lot of amazing things so far, and I'm not gonna say I saved the best for last, but I did save this for last because it's one of my favorites. I added a group. At one point, there were about 50 rummy nose tetras that I had. I mean, I think I've only ever seen maybe 2 of them dead, so there's at least more than 40 here, other than the one that is still in the Blackwater Aquarium that just absolutely refused to be caught, but you know what? He's in there, and that's it. I'm never getting him out. And then there is a small group of cardinal tetras in with my Discus, as well as these wild-caught angels. I love this combination. I love it so much, guys. I love seeing the beautifully colored Discus with these very just naturally colored angels. These are wild-caught Pterophyllum sclari from the river's called, I think, Momon, M-O-M-O-N, and they are just amazing. I absolutely love them. This tank was built for the Discus, and it still is the Discus's tank, except I have just been making some subtle changes, maybe some substrate in the future, but for now, we're gonna keep it at bare bottom. I really want these Discus to continue growing. I am feeding this tank like crazy to make that happen, but these fish in here are just absolutely thriving, and I watch this tank every day. This is the #1 tank that I sit in front of, and it is so beautiful. The Discus are just peaceful and slow moving and everything that I dreamed of. If you have a dream to one day own Discus, I hope you get to that point because it is totally worth it. They are everything that I thought they would be and more. So I hope you enjoy this tank as much as I do. All right, fun times. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Fwishlist out.